third reason is why companies hire accounting firms is that they seem trustworthy, which I love. What they said is that only half of the respondents said that was the reason. So I love the idea that half of these clients are hiring.
We don't care if they're trustworthy or not.
The other half are like, they're not trustworthy, but it's going to be fine.
Right.
They're an expert in taxes.
So yeah, we think they're an expert in taxes, but we don't necessarily trust them. So they may not be.
Yeah.
And they better not F up, because then that's when we're gonna. If they have errors, then you know. But we have no expectation that they won't have errors. They told us they wouldn't, but we don't necessarily trust them anyway. So we don't
have the technical ability to know if they're right or wrong anyway.
Right. So
nothing means anything.
Yeah.
Well, I think our industry. I think at the end of the day, our industry, especially at the CPA level, stresses so much to be ethical or to like pride yourself on, doing a good job. And I think a lot of this stuff, I think, are there bad apples out there? Sure. But I mean, I think as a whole, like our industry takes a really big swing at making it ethical and being responsible and being on point. And if there's one thing I think the industry could do better of, I think it's being responsive, being, kind of more mindful of the end customer.
Yeah.
Of what it is, and be more self-aware of who you are as a firm and what you're doing and what you're offering, what you want to offer.
Yeah. Well, I think, the flip side of that is that because our industry is known for its integrity and the trustworthiness, and on the whole, most of the people that I've interacted with and had the pleasure of working with, all the people I've had the pleasure of actually working directly with, fortunately in my career, have been trustworthy people with integrity, which is great, right?
Yeah.
But I also think that what happens in that kind of environment is that it creates this environment where that's almost taken for granted. And so, the few dipshits out there that are actually not very trustworthy or lack integrity, they're really taking advantage in a big way, and they're getting away with it a lot often in a big way because it's so like unexpected, or like they're like doing something that is like so out of the norm and so unexpected that it's just not. It's hard to believe that that's what's really going on. And, that's, of course, why state boards of accountancy will really go after people, and the IRS occasionally will go after professionals, and as they should, because of that exact problem.
And it's the whole reason there is a state board of accountancy, is to ensure that that's not happening. Really.
Right.
Yeah. So, some other common reasons, having in-depth knowledge of my company's industry, giving me proactive advice about my business. These are all just seem like reasonable things. I guess I would say the percentages are a little low for things like that you would think are core things that most people would say, I'm definitely going to hire an accountant who has an in-depth knowledge of my company's industry. But that wasn't the case. Less than half of people said that was the reason. So just kind of an interesting juxtaposition there between what you would think and what they end up really doing.
That rings true to me, because I often get that question asked, and a lot of times I have to answer it negatively. It's like, no, I work with a lot of different industries, and I may not have worked with your exact industry before, or if I did, maybe I worked with one company, so I can't really call myself an industry specialist. And so I always kind of feel a little bit that punch in the gut when they ask that question, and then I have to answer it that way. But then when coming back to it, at the end of the day, I don't think it actually has ever hurt me. I think at the end of the day, I don't think I've lost an engagement because they were like, oh, he's not an industry specialist, so we'll move on. So
Well, and like accounting sensibilities that you talk about often, but those are real. Like just the idea that you have a good position of understanding how accounting concepts tend to work makes it so that when you run into an industry-specific problem, themes tend to arise that were similar and things you had learned in other areas. And so, I think it makes sense that you would have a business owner who's the expert in his industry, and then he's leveraging your accounting sensibilities, and ultimately together by collaboration you're able to figure out whatever the problem is.
I think it also depends, like if you're on the client side, and it goes to the trustworthiness thing, is like, well, maybe if that particular accountant is capable of obtaining or acquiring the industry knowledge as they go, and they're not going to charge you more because they're doing that, and you feel comfortable that that's the case, then it should be okay. Like it should all work out, right? Because putting yourself in the client's shoes, like all things being equal, you would assume that you're going to get an equivalent level of service and correctness and all of that from an industry expert at a lower cost, because they've already made the investment. They already know how to do things in your industry and how it works with less time, right? So I think as long as you're able to like in your engagement proposals, you're able to make up for any lack of knowledge there by showing that you're willing to make that investment yourself. I think that could overcome that issue as well.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, so another big one was whether or not they offer flexible pricing options, such as a fixed fee or monthly rate. Not much you can really say there.